Did you know that your intimacy always reveals your true energetic state? So how you're being, what you're expressing, what your identity is, your image of yourself is, it can always be seen and felt during physical intimacy. Now, today is going to be something deeply profound and also deeply personal to any and everyone that's going to hear this video, because they were talking about sex, sexual intercourse, sexual energy expression, and we're going to give you the 7 reasons why, again, your true energetic state is not conducive or coherent enough for you to surrender to the climax of the sexual act that you're experiencing. I'm going to teach you guys based upon orgasmic power. First of all, what is orgasmic power? Orgasmic power is the state of a fully coherent human being whose fascia, organs, hormones, breath, biofield, emotions, chakras, and consciousness are synchronized into a single electric frequency, a frequency that shapes their relationships, their health, their success, and their destiny. This orgasmic power frequency comes out and it reveals itself to you and to your partner during intimacy. So there's a challenge. The challenge is for you to look in the mirror and see just whom you're being, because of the simple fact, and it's simple, that sexual energy is the current that's magnetizing, drawing in the experiences that you want, or it is negating and deflecting those same experiences that you want. Let's start off by talking about sexual energy expression. All right? I want you guys to understand this. Your sexual energy is your creative power. Whether it's misdirected, whether it's mastered, that's up to you. That's your business. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It's up to you. So it does not disappear. It does not get destroyed. It either moves upwards into creation from the base of your spine to the top of your head, or it leaks out in 7 places, 7 areas, 7 chakras. And the direction that it flows depends on your awareness to which mistaken goal is driving that center of energy or not. Because if you didn't have a mistaken goal, the energy would automatically go up twice a day. All men and all women. But mainly we're talking about men. Twice a day, you have your spiritual energy exchange, which is sex. Your spiritual energy will rise up from the base of your spine to the top of your head twice a day. Now, if you have distortions in your perceptions, that energy that's supposed to be on its way up is going to leak out in something. So, here's where we're going to start. What we're going to do is, I'm going to show you how the expression also affects the intercourse. Because each mistaken goal, based upon sexual energy, the emotions are going to be the same, the effect on the body is going to be the same, but your behavior and in what context is going to be just a little bit different. So the first mistaken goal is going to be at the root chakra, ankles, knees, and in this case, your adrenal glands and your genitals, this area, this bottom portion at this area here. The mistaken goal is going to be seeking attention. What does that mean? That means that you need to be desired in order to feel valuable. The unfortunate part about this is you're basically basing your own expression of sexual energy on someone else from the outside, not you from the inside. So this is what's called external validation through attraction. You begin to start posting pictures and images for attention. You begin seeking reactions. You'll wear provocative clothing, not because you feel sexy, because you want someone to see you. You want someone to see you. And then when they see you, then you'll feel sexy. You need to feel wanted. And this is the whole point as to why the outside should not make you feel wanted. You should already feel wanted. So what you start doing is chasing attention instead of building your own presence, making your own self the biggest self, the most wonderful self, grateful for you being here, grateful for you being alive, grateful for you having your own confidence. This confidence is fluctuating now. And this is where you start to drive an issue. Now, what happens as a result in the bedroom? Same emotions, insecurity, same effect on the body, the adrenals. But now during intimacy, you're still seeking reassurance. But here's the issue. You're needing validation through reaction. And you have sensitivity to your partner's attention. Meaning during your physical intimacy, anything that they do, you're so insecure about. You're so concerned about the lights being on. You're so concerned about how your body looks or how your body feels. You're so concerned about everything that they do, you are no longer even enjoying the moment. So the experience is not about connection, which is the whole reason why you have sex, is to have connection. Your experience is about being wanted. So now you have to figure out a way to ground yourself, to shift this perspective and ground yourself in your own presence. Because now, if you do that, not if you do that, but when you do that, your desire becomes mutual. You aren't chasing somebody else. That's why this is the first reason, seeking attention. This is how your expression is distorting your actual intercourse expression. But let's go to number 2, the second reason. Second reason is the power struggle at the sacral. The emotion is going to be control and tension at the body, your reproductive system. Men, going to be your testes. It's going to be women, you're going to be your ovaries. It's going to basically be the gonads. So look at that, men penis, women vagina. Here's where your energy starts to become manipulation. Because now you're beginning to attempt to control outcomes and force attraction. You're playing these mind games, dominance games. And this is where at this sacral, you have emotional tension, lack of authentic connection. And here is where during intercourse, this is what happens. During intercourse, you're attempting to lead every single moment. You have to be on top. Got to be missionary. Got to go from the back. Got to go from the side. Whatever it has, whatever you feel is necessary for you to get your orgasm potential. So let me speak about this real quickly. You have 2 forms of energy in terms of sexual energy. You have one on one side that's called orgastic potency. I will define this. This term, orgastic potency, is the ability to surrender to the climax of the sexual act. That's your orgastic potency. On the opposite end is sexual potency. And this is the ability to perform, the sexual act. You have to have the energy to perform the sexual act, and you have to have the ability to surrender to sexual act. So you have to have the ability to do it and the ability to receive it. That's the 2 energies during sex. So if you have difficulty surrendering, which at the sacral, that's what the power struggle is going to be, you have this subtle tension instead of flow. It's subtle. It's not something that's outlandish. You're not punching somebody. You know what? There's people who do crazy stuff like that, kinky stuff like that. But we're just keeping it to where it's the energy proponent. Something feels off, slightly off. So the distortion is the interaction feels like it's controlled, like you're in a pornography film, like you're in a porno, you're shooting a porno shoot. You got somebody hovering over you with your camera saying, switch position here. You got 5 pumps here. You got 6 seconds here, going down for 10 seconds on this. It's like, it's not a controlled experience. It's supposed to be a natural flow. So the shift is, again, at the sacral. You must allow rhythm and shared flow, because as a result, intercourse becomes a fluid, responsive, and connected experience. That's what you want. This is how you were going to get this to reveal your true energetic state. And at the end of this, we're going to teach you how to change. I'm going to teach you how to change and transform that energy state so you can raise your orgasmic power and you can enjoy sex. Most of you aren't enjoying sex. 3, solar plexus. This is going to be the emotion of the ego and also pressure. You have pressure. At the body, it's going to be your pancreas. It's going to be the area of the core, these areas here. So the expression, the issue of expression, at this area, you believe that you have to prove your worth through the conquest. You see, at the sacral, the emotion was, and the quote inside your head was, I need to control an attraction. I need control and attraction. But now you're saying I have to prove my worth through conquest. And this is where this becomes a dangerous thing. Okay, because now, in the case of sexual energy expression, not only are you in the ego, you're also in anger. You're in anger. Now you've seen these crazy movies and these crazy porno videos where they're basically, beating down, dominating somebody else. It's ego-driven sexuality. So you're using attraction to validate your power. Because again, at the area of revenge, you were hurt. Or you felt hurt. You felt hurt. And therefore you're dishing that hurt back out to somebody else. So now you're trying to win, which trying doesn't even exist. So you're pushing yourself to win through experiences. So here's where you get this temporary high. You got this temporary high, and you have this long-term emptiness. This is all because you're not living in the flow. First of all, you're taking the first 2 mistaken goals. But what you're doing is you're attempting to get it right. You got to get it right. So it's performance pressure that you're giving yourself during the actual physical act. Oh, she's bad. I got the baddest bitch on the block. I got the baddest dude on the block. He's handsome. So you're attempting to perform. Whatever you do, it's going to be some performance show. And you're over focusing again on the outcome. This is supposed to be an enjoyable connection. You're supposed to be surrendering to the climax of the sexual act. You're supposed to be raising your orgasmic power, becoming a fully coherent human being. Unfortunately, your over-focusing is causing this moment to become some project or some task, and you're not present. What's the shift? You have to release your need to prove. You just got to release your need to prove. You already got him there. You already got her there. You're not said paid up. This isn't a paid transaction. People do have paid transactions, and which is unfortunate that they don't think of themselves as valuable enough, and they think of a sexual act as a paid transaction. But that's just the nature of what we live in. So I'm not going to say good or bad. It's just an event. It's whatever happens. That's what happens. So when you release the need to prove, as a result, your presence replaces this pressure. You're just there. You look how you look. You feel how you feel. You accept it. Now enjoy it. Number 4 reason is going to be at the heart. Here is the display of inadequacy. This is the 4th mistaken goal. You are saying you are not enough to be fully desired. This is the emotion of vulnerability, self-doubt. It affects your body at the heart and at the lungs. Now, this is where your energy collapses inward. This is where you have this fear of rejection. This is where you have this avoidance of intimacy. And this is also distortion of low confidence and emotional disconnection. What's happening in the bedroom? What's happening in the bedroom is you are holding back emotionally. You're holding back emotionally. And you have this difficulty of opening fully. You have this low orgasmic potency. Now, this guarded connection, what is this doing? It's making the experience feel like a partial experience, like you're a paid actor, like I just told y'all. Y'all want to go film a pornography thing, go film some porno with, somebody, go do an OnlyFans, shoot for somebody, go do something that does not require you to love or to care for the individual. You just have a transaction. Here's some money, here's some dollar bills, send out the money, go pay the actor to go act. That's what this is about. What I'm talking about is connection, actual connection, actual I care about the experience, I care about building, I care about transfer of energy. This is the actual experience we're talking about here. If you don't ever fully express yourself, you will never get that. So the shift here, you again allow emotional openness. And as a result of this allowance, your intimacy becomes deep, it becomes safe, and it becomes connected. Let's go to the fifth reason. The fifth reason is at the throat, proving superiority. This is where you say, I need to show I am better. I need to show I'm better. Which is again unfortunate, because here's the emotion of pride. Pride is a cancer when it comes into relationship, or when it comes into, team concept or team building. Sex is basically building your team. You're consistently building through repetition of connection. You're building a connection with this person. If you continue to prune your connections, or prune them because you're not attempting to build the connection with somebody else, what you're going to do is you're going to find yourself going to somewhere else. If you do not empower yourself in this regard, in this life area, somebody else is going to do it. Okay? So again, here's where your expression is becoming a performance. It's talking, it's showing, it's proving, it's attempting to impress instead of connect. And this is the fourth energy, the lack of depth. So again, in the intercourse, what happens whenever you're actually having sex? You're showing that you're capable. You have to show that you're capable. So again, you're overthinking your performance and you're attempting to impress, and there's a lack of natural expression. You got to show that if you don't have a 10-inch sizable penis, that you got to be able to put it down in other ways. Maybe talk to your partner or whisper or something. Or if you don't have some impeccable, immaculate way of what's the word I'm looking for? Fellatio. Men and women both. I got tongue action, hands, all this stuff. You got to learn how to be the freakiest or the nastiest or whatever you think is supposed to turn your partner on. You're going off, and you don't realize that it's simply based upon connection. You're going to be able to evolve into that stuff. That's what you care about. But you just really care about the person and the connection. The expression, again, becomes forced instead of authentic. And now you have to do what? You have to shift. You have to express naturally. When you can just express naturally, just go to the next step. Just feel your way through the experience. You ain't got to be some minute man or some minute woman. You ain't got to last 4 or 5 minutes or 4 or 5 hours. Okay? It just has to be a natural experience where time just dissolves and you're just going through the process. Okay? What then happens? Confidence becomes a felt experience, a shared experience, not demonstrated. Not, I can put it down, such and such, I'm all night. Everybody says first of all, I'll give this to women. Any man that says he's all night, he ain't all night. And any woman that says she's all night, she ain't all night. Both of y'all full of shit. Probably, literally, both of y'all full of crap. So I don't believe any of that. I don't say anything. I used to not be able to control my energy. I was anxious, during sexual intercourse. I was anxious. I was just anxious. My first experience was probably my most wonderful, memorable experience based on just learning myself. because I had someone who was patient with me, and she just allowed me to be myself. And then as I evolved going forward, I started to see, the stories or be around you guys. And that's not what you want to do, women either. Because when you start to go around people, which I'll get into the next reasons, because that's going to show, you start to do things based on the stories that you can tell. And it's not authentic anymore. You're attempting to perform or to show something different. So I used to get nervous. I was nervous sometimes. They're beautiful partners. Every partner that I've ever had, in some way, shape, or form, phenomenal, beautiful. And I just recall not being whole and authentic in myself. So in some cases, I was insecure. And sometimes I was attempting to prove myself. Sometimes I was attempting to, I had too much ego or too much pressure. And I was just attempting to release my pressure or release my anger in different ways, not hurt my partner, but just release whatever was going on with me through the experience, which is again incorrect. I was using it for things that it made no sense. Okay, so we're going to go to the third eye at the sixth reason. This is where, and here's a big part of this, in terms of expression and energy. At the sixth reason, the third eye, you are basically looking at competition versus community. So you're competing with other people. So here's your emotion of comparison. This is at your central nervous system. This is where, this is going to house the pineal gland, and up next, the pituitary gland, the master gland. This is where what's happening to you is you're making this about comparison. And this is the worst part in terms of sexual energy expression. Because if you're looking at others, you're feeling behind. My body's not, where it's supposed to be. My muscles aren't where it's supposed to be. Her ass is bigger. Her legs look sexier. His chest is bigger. His calves are bigger. You start looking at all things that are ridiculous. Shoulders, back, all my muscles. I can't handle this. You start looking at all this garbage. And you start to see yourself measured up against other people constantly. Now you begin to create these loops again, like you had at the root of insecurity. You losing your own individuality. And then in the bedroom, this is what happens in the bedroom. In the bedroom at the sixth reason, you're comparing your experience of sex. And don't tell me that relationships don't do this, because I guarantee you that as a man or as a woman, I've unconsciously probably done this multiple times. You're going to say, oh, well, my boyfriend, back in the day, he used to put it down. Or my girlfriend, she used to be riding like this, and she used to do all like this, and he used to, suck it like that, or kiss it like this. Start comparing. What are you doing? That person's not inside your bedroom no more. Okay? It's a new person with a new experience. You don't bring back something else to compare that person to a new person's experience. It makes no sense. You are your own person. So, if you start to think instead of feel, this is where this starts to go somewhere else. And then you're comparing to past or expectations of. You're comparing what you had before to what you think you're supposed to have now. And then, again, it creates a lack of presence, which again is lowering this orgasmic potency, because you ain't going to be able to surrender if you're thinking about something else. Now, once you begin to disconnect from the moment, you're going to shift this perspective, because you have to. You have to get this back. You have to fully enter the present experience. And that means surrender what you think the outcome's supposed to be. Surrender what you believe you had, because you ain't got that no more. And as a result, your awareness deepens your connection. But you cannot continue to say, this is what I had. He was 10 inches. He was packing. She was wet. You were a little too dry. Or all that. You can always find something that's wrong. You can always find something that's wrong. You don't last long enough. I'm telling you, people got all types of shit. I used to think about all these different things during sexual intercourse. Now I don't think about anything except for the experience. and the person that I'm with, and how can I transfer everything into this person that I'm with. That's all that you need to do. You need to focus on looking at them, being able to see them in their eyes, synchronizing your breathing with them, looking at them as a being that you are basically inside of. That's why I started to say thank you after I have sexual intercourse with a woman. I'm thanking the woman for letting me become a part of her. Because for a moment, I'm a part of her. There's a moment where I'm actually sharing her energy. I'm sharing it. So I say, thank you for letting me, be a part of you. Thank you for the experience. I just began to start doing it because that makes me grateful for the experience that I've been able to have. So you should always, and I'm going to say you should, yes. I know people you're not supposed to tell somebody what they should do I don't really give a fuck. I believe that in order for you to feel a sense of gratitude, just saying thank you for the event that occurred. Doesn't matter what the event. I don't label anything good or bad. It could have been a minute-long transaction in the bedroom. It could have been an hour long. It could have been very pleasurable. It could have been very painful. Thank you. It's not to be labeled good or bad. Something great can come out of it if I find that something great. So at the 7th reason is out the crown. No courage to be disliked. This is the mistaken goal. No courage to be disliked. What is the thought? The thought is I need approval. I need approval from my partner to express myself. I need approval from my sexual partner to express myself. Somehow I have to ask this person, man or woman, is it okay for me to be myself in order to actually do this? Instead of just going to go do it. This is the emotion against fear of judgment. Fear of judgment. And let me remind you all. If you have judgment for something in somebody else, you undoubtedly have that same quality or trait inside of you. So it's futile. It makes no sense for you to judge anything inside somebody else. Because everything that you judge inside somebody else, as far as behavior-wise, you have it inside yourself. At the body, again, nervous system, this is going to probably be the master gland, which is going to be the pituitary gland. And again, these two are interchangeable, pineal and pituitary, but most likely you're going to call this one the master gland. This is where you get suppression, holding back your energy. This is where you start to play it safe. This is where you begin to not express fully. You have low magnetism. You have weak presence. Now, it sounds simple, huh? Till you get to the bedroom. What happens in this case, avoiding full expression, you're saying I need to be accepted in this moment. You have to accept me and tell me how wonderful and lovely and fantastic what my performance is. I say I'm doing great. I need you to worry about me and tell me that I'm putting it down, that I feel so great, and I need to be validated. I'm not saying that you don't need to at least be told that you're having fun and you're expressing. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you don't go into it with the need. You go into it knowing who you are, what you're capable of, the pleasure that you can provide for yourself and somebody else. You go into it with that confidence knowing that you can do that. Now, I don't ever have a moment in a bedroom sexual intercourse where I never feel confident enough to make my sexual partner feel the pleasure that I'm going to provide for her. I've studied it for countless amounts of years. I'm 43 years old. I've basically started at Kama Sutra. I learned how ancient this was and how sacred the experience actually was. I didn't just go into it based on a music video and seeing, strip clubs and, women twerking and shit like that. It wasn't like that. I saw that, but I read and I studied based on the sacredness first. Then I understood people who don't treat it as sacred like that. I didn't want to be a part of that. Not that I haven't gone in or seen or been around. I've gone and I've seen it. But I'd rather have my experiences to a heightened level of sacredness. It makes it feel special and not just blatantly transactional. So in the case of intimacy, again, you're holding back your desires or your communication. You want to say how wonderful this is. You want to say how beautiful you are. You want to say how sexy, how you're making me feel. And you don't say anything. You're just too afraid because you're prioritizing approval. What if the person says, no, or I say I love you, and this person doesn't say it back? And it's like, it doesn't matter. Just speak the truth. Speak the truth at that moment in time. And do not suppress your authenticity. Okay? What happens then, in terms of your shift, you must express your truth without your fears. Let your fears go. And as a result, your intimacy then becomes real, becomes open, it becomes aligned. This is where the intercourse is one of the only experiences where the body's fully engaged, you're fully vulnerable, you're fully transparent, you're fully accountable for who you are, what you're bringing in. Your nervous system is completely exposed. So think of subconscious programming at this moment in time, because anything can go through your subconscious right now because you have the gate wide open. And this is where it becomes the most active. So there's no hiding at all. And then in case of, here's where I'm explaining based upon alignment. Back to this orgasmic power, state of a fully coherent human being. What's happening whenever you are out of alignment, when you are basically having sex with your romantic partner, sexual partner, you are thinking instead of feeling. You are controlling instead of flowing. You are performing instead of connecting. And you are seeking instead of expressing. All these things that you're trying to go to from the outside, instead of having it expressed from the inside. The light that's shining, that you're basically passing over as a gift to somebody else. In alignment, you become present, you become open, you become responsive, you become connected. So now, all you're thinking about at this moment in time is, it's not a technique, but you'll get all these people teaching you right now, talking about the G-spot this, and how to make the women orgasm, how to make your woman come to an orgasm, and how to make the man, 30 seconds and all this stuff. Look, I'm telling you, it's not necessarily about technique. There's a part of it that is technique. You have to have your body right. You got to have your mind right. You can't have great sex and you're overweight. You can't have great sex and you're fat. I'm telling you right now, you can't have great sex and you don't smell good. You have to take care of your hygiene. You can't have great sex when you, just sloppy in terms of your surrounding area. If your room's dirty, don't have sex in the dirty room. Clean your room. Make sure that your environment is predicated on allowing someone to come into it. It's a reflection of your mind. So you can't have sex, great sex. You can have sex, but you can't have great sex. No, it's impossible. So if you can think about it like this, nervous system regulation plus when you align your identity with who you really believe you are, you won't force a connection. You won't force a connection. You won't overthink this thing. You won't perform. You'll just be able to experience. And so here's where you start to look at yourself as a safe space. You are the safe space. You live in yourself. You live in your body. You don't live in somebody else's body. You live in your body. So you are your actual safe space. Whenever you feel connected, whenever you feel open, whenever you feel clear, whenever you feel present, whenever you feel aligned, and you feel powerful. The problem is that people don't express their energy correctly because they're missing this. Okay? Sexual energy is like electricity. If it's not directed, it goes into pornography, which distorts the crown and the third eye. It's distorting it because you're thinking it fantasy mode. Those things aren't real. Okay, endless scrolling, that's also your sexual energy. How about fantasizing again with distractions? You can't line yourself up because your energy's being depleted. It's going out in holes and gaps that you created. Now, if you can just direct it, this is what Napoleon Hill calls sexual transmutation of energy in the book, Think and Grow Rich. What he's saying is you can now lock into focus and creativity and discipline and execution. And whenever you go into sexual intercourse, you also go into focus and creativity and discipline and execution. You listen. You ask for cues. You give cues. You can follow the cues. Everyone is in synchronization. You're in emotional synchronization. That is a term. Emotional synchronization. You're synchronizing your emotions with your sexual partner. So What I'm expressing again to you is that you have to get yourself in a place of orgasmic power, in a place of a fully coherent human being. Again, whose fascia, organs, hormones, breath, biofield, emotions, chakras, and consciousness are synchronized into a single electric frequency. That you are giving, you're passing that frequency to your sexual partner. So, what do you have to do? You have to figure out how to clean yourself up. To clean yourself up. Because most individuals are distorted. Parasites cause sexual distortion. Bad food, bad diet, sexual distortion. Dehydration, which causes stress, again, causes sexual distortion. If you can figure out that there's things inside your environment, things that you need to go through in terms of your own cycle, in terms of how you process your own values in your own system. If you can figure out what are these things that you need to go do. Because many people aren't on the same page. So you're having sex with somebody who has a different goal or purpose in life. And just because you think it's right for you to reconnect each and every time, you may fight with them, you may not be in alignment with them, but you continue to what? You fight. You fight your partnerships. Then you go back and you fuck. And then you go back and then you what? You're going to forgive them. And then all of a sudden, the whole process happens all over again. No one left. No one changed anything. No one decided that they are going to be a different person. No one had any consequences. Now you mad. You're just going to have to be mad because they ain't going to do shit for you. So what I'm explaining in this regard, let's talk about how you're going to become a brand new individual, a brand new person. We're going to give you a cleansing process, and we're going to change over with a system transformation your identity in terms of based upon around sex. Okay? So, how is this going to work? First of all, there is a point of integration. Detoxification, regulation, interoception, metacognition, reprogramming, coherence, and we're going to slip in what's called the DeMartini method, which is going to go into two specific stages. It's going to go into the stage of interoception and metacognition and reprogramming. So what happens at this moment is we're going to clear the circuits. So you have to clear the circuits out. If you can't get over the person that you already were, to go towards the new person and cross the river of change to become the person who you're supposed to be, you're always going to stay stuck in the same chemical, because emotions are chemicals, the same chemical addictions that you had previously. Now, here is the point. So, in order to change you, we're going to reactivate your chakras. At the root, what we're going to do, since the mistaken goal was seeking attention, and based upon the emotion of insecurity and affecting your adrenal glands, we're going to first restore your mineral restoration. You got to restore the minerals, okay? And let your adrenal glands recover. Next is slowing down your breathing, grounding, like I always prescribe in pretty much every video. Go to Amazon.com, order yourself a grounding mat or a grounding wrist strap and a grounding cord. Sleep with your grounding cord. Use it whenever you're working in your home office. If you're at home, on the couch, ground yourself. Interoception, upgrade. We're going to feel our body stabilize. We're going to lower our heart rate, drop our tension. And through metacognition, we're going to recognize what we are seeking attention on right now. And we're going to figure out through the method, in terms of the DeMartini method, how he thinks about what he does is he talks about basically aligning. You are going to start to align yourself. And so you may say that you are feeling ignored. That's why you're seeking attention. Identify it first where you're feeling ignored. And then find where you also ignore other people, because you do it too. And then find out how the attention that you're receiving has benefits and it has drawbacks. This is where you're dissolving this seeking attention. So in terms of sex, where does it have benefits to be sexy? Where does it have drawbacks to dressing sexy or seeking attention? The shift is you're dissolving this portion. That's through these areas here. That's the Demartini method. Then you reprogram something brand new. Safety becomes, I generate my own safety, my own attention, my own stability in myself. I'm not seeking it from anybody else. So in the bedroom, you have your own reassurance. At the sacral, this is going to be your reproductive system. The distortion right here is you're saying, I must control the outcomes. What you have to do with this area here, because it's control, you have to show both sides of control versus surrender. Explain to yourself, again, look in the mirror. You're going to be your own therapist right now. You are going to figure out where it was that you control other people and it helped, and where you control other people and it hurt. Because again, it's both sides. Show both sides. Show also the side where you surrendered and it helped. Show the side where you surrendered and it hurt. There's again both sides. You have to see both sides. And then once you do integrate both sides, tension is going to dissolve, and then it goes your control. So now you can move with the flow, not with forcing. You're moving with the flow. That's how this works. At the plexus, the third law, the third mistaken goal. This is going to be where you're going to get over this anger. You're going to get over this anger that says they caused my pain. I guarantee you that there's anyone who's been molested, sexually assaulted, raped, you have a lot of anger built in from the event. No one's denying that you have the event. The event is real. The event is real. The event happened to you. What is in denial is the story that you're telling about the event. No one's denying that you had the event. I guarantee when you walk into a place and you say, I had this traumatic experience, no one's saying you never had the experience. The experience is very real. What happened to you was very real. What we are saying is that there's nothing that's good or bad. And there's going to be a place where you can say, how did your actions contribute to what happened to you? And are there any hidden benefits that you have not brought out to the forefront of that experience? Because I guarantee you, if you go looking for them, you're going to find them. As a result of you getting raped, did anything else happen after you got molested or assaulted? Anything happen that was a benefit for you? Did anything happen based on a reframe? And again, show how your actions may have contributed to the event in the first place. Everyone plays a part in everything that occurs. Everyone plays a part because we are the narrator, we are the producer of our life, the narrator of our life. We have input and influence over the events that occur. Reframe the cause as a shared cause. And then, as a shift, you stop being a victim, you become a creator, and now you respond with purpose and presence, not with reaction. And now you are not basically focused on overperforming. It's just a natural flow. Text is going to be a natural flow. At the heart, the fourth reason, display of inadequacy. What you're going to do, because here's where you're starting to say, I'm not enough. This is the self-doubt, I'm not enough. Okay, I need you to list where you feel inferior. Any situation where you feel inferior, whether you're speaking at a public event, whether you're selling your products, whether you're giving a speech on content creation, whether you are in a social place or space and you don't think you're dressed accordingly, whether you're in the gym and you don't feel secure within yourself. Where Where do you feel inferior? Then find where you are equal or superior in any area, whether it's in the kitchen, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's on the field, sporting event, because you're going to have something that you're great at. You have to figure it out for yourself, and you have to balance your own self-perception of yourself. Because I'm telling you, no one's awful at everything. You're great at something. That's what makes you unique, and that's the whole point of this: is to bring out your own uniqueness. Stop living in, which we're going to get into again, comparison mode. Now, your self-worth stabilizes. All of a sudden, then you create a new value. Now you begin to be whole again and worthy. So now you have great sex. You have wonderful partnerships, wonderful relationships. Once you dissolve this mistaken goal at this area, every life area is affected. Every life area is affected, whether it's your finances, whether it's your business, whether it's relationships, your social status, whatever it may be, project management, goal setting, all of it changes and dissolves when you go through this process. Now, at the 5th, proven superiority. This is at the thyroid. This is at the emotion of pride. You're saying I must prove I'm better. I'm worthy. I validate myself in the bedroom. We're talking about in terms of sex. You must show where superiority is creating a separation. Show where this mindset is creating a separation. And show where inequality creates a connection. So stop looking at yourself in terms of superiority. Here's where you get people who rape people in the first place. They already mismanaged inside their own head. And they go towards people who deem inferiority, which is a mask. Superiority complexes are masks for inferiority complexes. They're just masks. That's what they are. So now, the shift, whenever you do this process, show where superiority creates separation, because it does. And that goes against universal law. Universal law says we're all divinely connected through oneness. Show where equality creates connection. Your expressions become neutral because you're dissolving this polarized viewpoint of yourself next to somebody else. And now it becomes clear. Now you can express your truth, not live in this ego, in this pride, overthinking performance. At the 6th mistaken goal, competition versus community, you're going to dissolve this comparison, because you're looking left and right saying, I'm behind somebody, I'm not worthy of, because they're farther along than me, they got more muscles than me, they got a better physique than me, aesthetically they look prettier than me. Whatever you're comparing, whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. Because what we're going to do is we're going to say, show how their path mirrors others differently. Meaning show how your path, I'm going to show how your path is going to mirror somebody else in a completely different lane. You're driving in your own lane. I'm driving inside the lane. Not in the back of the pickup truck. Not inside the passenger seat. You're driving your own vessel in your own lane. Your path is mirroring somebody else's path. You're on the gym path. You're on a speaking path, a content creation path, money generation path, entrepreneurship path. It's your own path. It's not their path. It's not a shared experience. You have to identify complementary roles to this person. You may be a point guard on a basketball team, but you ain't 7 feet tall. You don't go block shots in the paint. You don't go shoot 3-pointers on the outside. You don't go rebounding and throwing outlet passes. It ain't your job. Your job is probably to be the facilitator, to get everybody in the right spot. Maybe that's what your job is in terms of business. You have a complementary person that does a complementary role. See what those people are, because that's based upon community, not based upon competition. So in the bedroom, literally, you stop comparing yourself to somebody else's performance. You want to go watch all the porno videos you want to and go see this actor, he has a big dick. That actor, she has big tits. So what? Doesn't matter. That's not you. Be yourself. The shift is, again, your comparison is going to dissolve. And then you have alignment with your new path based upon your new values. And now you can contribute in the bedroom to your experience, in life, in your own experience. Lastly, the crown, no courage to be disliked. That's the emotion, the fear, judgment. This is the ultimate level of freedom. Because once you have the level of freedom to be, the courage to be disliked, you have ultimate freedom. Okay? Once you have this area here, I need you to do this. Stop needing approval to be accepted in the bedroom, in business, in any room, period. Show the cost of approval seeking. There's a cost that you're paying to do this. Show a cost. Write out the cost of you having to do this. Every opportunity that you go into, every interview that you go into, but you're not standing up for yourself. Show the cost and then show the benefit of being disliked. Because there's a benefit to not being a fucking sheep. There's a benefit to not being like everybody else. There's a benefit to not having conformity. Conformity is you're dead. You're dead. You're no longer yourself. You're no longer a person. You do not conform to the whole. There's a balanced perception of judgment when you can figure this out. Because again, whatever you're judging other people, you have it within yourself. I look within myself first. Approval is going to start to lose power. You won't get triggered by it anymore. The new value is you're thinking independently, standing in your own truth. But it's not your own truth. It's based upon universal law. But you become integrated with universal law. Now universal law is what drives you. You're not just saying red light, green light. Red light means go and green means stop. That's not universal law. Clearly, if you go out there and drive and say red light is go, it's not how universal law works. Everyone follows universal law, including you. So, again, this is where you're going to basically identify your distortions, equalize your meanings, okay? This is where it's in terms of metacognition, neutralizing your emotional charges, because you're basically going to meditate on yourself. This is where you become familiar with. The word meditation means become familiar with. And then you're going to go towards reprogramming. Here's where you get your value hierarchy alignment. This is where you're going to basically do a new set of values. DeMartini has a value hierarchy assessment. You've probably seen it in my previous videos. I have a PDF I'm going to link actually at the description in this video, so you'll be able to see it. It might be on the screen. I'll place it on the screen. And you'll be able to read the 13 questions that he talks. He says basically list your top 3 things. Because you have to basically assess brand new values. Link new beliefs to brand new highest values. Reinforce those new beliefs through actions and integrate it into your identity. So now, here's the full loop. Transformation. First is detoxification. Focusing on herbs, focusing on hydration, focusing on stimulants that are natural, that are getting you energized, raising your angsters of energy, that's basically affecting your DNA in a way where you have more energy, more vitality, you become a different person. It's clearing your old chemistry out. 2, regulation. This is stabilizing your nervous system. Breath work is imperative. Also exercise and fitness, going to the gym. I have a free starter kit that you guys can go click on the description below. You will see. So add your email in there. You can, get it sent to your email. It's got a 1-week long plant-based meal plan and also a 1-week long training plan for you to use as well. Interoception, feeling your internal signals. You must be able to feel how you feel on the inside. Metacognition, identifying your mistaken goals, plus your distorted perceptions. And then what we're going to use next up, the DeMartini method, which I just explained through the questions you're going to ask yourself, is you're going to balance your perceptions out. You must identify them first through metacognition, meditation. Become familiar with yourself. What are you thinking? Write it down. And then we're going to basically go back and restructure those things. Then we're going to have a new set of values. That's what we're going to reprogram you with. Installing beliefs tied to the new identity. And now you're going to execute this based upon your reinforcement through behavior. Making a system, making a plan for you to do it every single day, every single week. And so now, this is the system. Changes your biology, changes your perception, changes your values simultaneously. Changes your perspective on sex, because this is big, because your energy expression, sexual energy expression, gets everything to come to you into your life. This is just the next part of it. So we're not just going to talk about think positive, think about your body in a wonderful way and all this. We're not doing that. We're going to clear out the body, calm the system, balance your perceptions, align with your new values, install a new identity. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. That's how we're doing it. Now, based upon sex, let me explain this to you. The person that you are going to be romantically, sexually involved in, you are going to immediately have a synchronization of your emotions with this person. The emotions are chemical. So their addictions become your addictions. Your addictions become their addictions. What's wise is for you to go through this process of transformation first before you even have a sexual partner. Because when you take on something, you're not 100% whole. The person whom you're drawing in is stabilizing you. Instead of you being 100% and them being 100%, someone's 70, someone's 30, someone's 50, someone's 50, someone's 60, someone's 40, someone's 25, someone's 75. You want to be 100%. And you are drawing a person and a reflection of you that is also 100%. They will be locked in their values. They'll be locked in your values. And what you can do is you can then share those experiences with yourself together. But I encourage you all to write out the experience of life that you want to have. Because once you combine yourself sexually with another being, you are becoming that being. This is a vesica. A vesica is one circle, I'll put male. One circle, I'll put female. This portion right here that begins to get intertwined starts to get a little bit bigger as you continue your process, and your brains begin to be wired together. Start to see partners that walk the same, they talk the same, they think the same. Your experience of life becomes pretty much the same. So before you go in and share your most precious sacred asset, which is your sacred seeds, men, your sacred eggs that can regenerate something brand new, women, combine makes a brand new person, a brand new being, a brand new world, brand new perspective. Think about it first, because it's powerful. Don't just go up in there and think about the next new music video or the next baddest bitch or whatever and all. Don't do all that. And get someone that's in alignment with your purpose. It's going to help you to fulfill your purpose. Don't get someone who you think fits the mold of what makes you look good or makes you look more powerful or more attractive. You're not doing that for that. You're getting your sexual partner. You're attracting the person that's going to help you to fulfill your purpose. So figure out what that purpose is, and you'll find the right partner for it. All right? Hope this video helped you guys. Like, share, subscribe. And again, orgasmic power is the state of a fully coherent human being whose fascia, organs, hormones, breath, biofield, emotions, chakras, and consciousness are synchronized into a single electric frequency, a frequency that shapes their relationships, their health, their success, and their destiny. I'm going to help you guys to raise your own and become invincible. All right? All right. Until next time. Peace.